women's basketball podcast. I'm Jay.
And I'm Kay.
We are here today for a real deep dive into a game that honestly felt like the whole WNBA season wrapped into one. It was thrilling. We saw some unexpected heroes step up. And, well, for one team, it was frankly pretty heartbreaking in the end.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We're unpacking that recent clash between the Indiana Fever and the very formidable Minnesota Lynx. This wasn't just, another regular season game.
Oh, yeah.
It was a battle with huge playoff implications, especially for the Fever, who are dealing with what you can only call an absolutely brutal, almost unprecedented stretch of injuries into it. So setting the stage.
Yeah.
What's immediately striking is just the sheer amount of adversity the Fever were dealing with before the game even started.
It was bad, right?
Oh, it was. Their roster was basically an injury report. You had Caitlin Clark out with a groin bone bruise.
Okay, key player gone.
Right. Then Sydney Colson, torn ACL, out for the season. Ari McDonald, broken foot, done for the year. Sophie Cunningham, knee injury, also out for the season.
Wait, so that's like 4 major players already.
And it gets worse. Just before tip-off, Chloe Bibby was ruled out too, another knee injury.
Oh my gosh. I mean, how do you even feel a team? That's practically your core rotation wiped out.
It's unbelievable. And you have to ask, how does a coaching staff even prep for that? You're losing not just talent, but your whole game plan, offensively, defensively.
Yeah.
It all goes out the window.
Yeah, players are suddenly playing huge minutes, maybe in spots they're not used to. It puts crazy pressure on whoever's left healthy.
Immense pressure.
Mm.
And on the coaches, like Stephanie White, to just get incredibly creative. And then, just to rub salt in the wound, Odyssey Sims limps off in the fourth quarter. Needed evaluation. They were digging deep.
So the Fevers are basically an MASH unit. Who are they up against? Was it like an equally struggling team?
No, not even close. On the other side, the Minnesota Lynx. Dominant, #1 team in the Western Conference. 29-7 record, already locked in their playoff spot.
Okay, so a juggernaut.
Pretty much. Now, they were missing their own star, Nafisa Collier. She was out with an ankle injury. But, don't let that fool you. The Lynx are deep. They were still a very, very dangerous team rolling into Indy.
Right, even 1 star down, a team like that has firepower. And they had motivation, too, didn't they? Weren't they on a losing streak?
Yeah, a rare one for them. 2 straight losses to Atlanta and New York, so they definitely did not want to make it 3 in a row.
Okay, so you've got this banged-up Fever team, desperate for a win for playoff hopes, against the top team in the West looking to stop a skid. And it's at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, packed house, right?
Oh.
Over 15,000 fans.
Yep, 15,121. The atmosphere must have been electric. Just palpable tension,
Totally. And then the game starts, and the Femen come out firing.
Absolutely blew everyone away, despite everything, all the injuries, facing the best in the West. Indiana just explodes in that first quarter. They grab a 27-22 lead.
Wow. Okay, that's a statement. What happened? Who stepped up? Somebody must have had a huge start.
Oh, absolutely. The story of that first quarter, really the whole first half, was Lexi Hull. People are starting to call her the blonde bomber.
Ah, I like it.
She just went off. Career high performance, basically started right away. 11 points in the first quarter alone.
11 in the first. That's huge.
Yeah. By halftime, she had 18 points.
Yeah.
Super efficient, too. 7 for 10 shooting, hit 3 threes. Finished the game with 23 points total.
Incredible. Was that just her feeling it, or was it strategy?
Bit of both, probably, but Coach Steffi White actually mentioned it post-game. Praised Hull for being aggressive, for hunting shots. Because, with Mitchell and Boston getting so much defensive attention, especially with Clark out, they needed someone else to be that threat. Hull absolutely answered the call.
Wow. The blonde bomber delivers. That must have just juiced the whole arena, seeing that kind of performance from an unexpected source, given their situation.
Oh, for sure. The energy must have been nuts.
Yeah.
Classic underdog stuff playing out live. And she wasn't the only surprise contributor either.
Oh, yeah. Who else?
You got to talk about Shea Petty. She was just signed on a 7-day hardship contract.
Right, the emergency signing, because they literally didn't have enough players.
Exactly. It's basically a lifeline rule. And Petty comes in and immediately makes a difference. Hits 3 3-pointers in the first half, scores 9 points. Just bang, bang, bang. 3 for 3 from downtown.
That's incredible. Talk about instant impact from someone just walking in the door. Shows the value of those hardship deals sometimes.
Totally. So between Hull and Petty, and just generally, the Fevers were on fire from 3. They hit 10 threes in the first half.
10 threes and a half.
Yeah, and they shot something like 71% from deep in that first quarter. Just unconscious shooting.
Okay, so Hull's exploding, Petty's hitting everything. What about Kelsey Mitchell? She's usually the engine, right? Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
Yeah, and she was still definitely the anchor. consistent as ever. She ended up leading the Fever with 27 points, had 5 assists too, hit some really crucial threes later on to keep them close, even though maybe she didn't start as hot as in some other games.
Right. Her just being out there draws so much attention, probably opens things up for Hole and Petty.
Exactly. Even with defenses keying on her more without Clark, she finds ways to score and lead. Just a testament to her game.
Okay, so Fever's offense is clicking like crazy in the first half, way beyond expectations. But basketball's a game of runs. The third quarter hits, and the tide turns.
Big time. That's where you saw the Lynx's championship pedigree, their experience, whatever you want to call it. They just flipped a switch, dominated the third quarter, outscored the Fever 32-17.
32-17. What changed? Did Minnesota make specific adjustments?
They did. Kayla McBride actually talked about it after the game, said the halftime message was pretty simple. Play defense, get stops, get out in transition.
Sounds simple but effective.
Yeah, they really tightened the screws defensively, closed out harder on shooters, made passing tougher, and really started controlling the paint. It wasn't just trying harder, it was a clear, strategic shift. That's what top teams do.
And while the team defense locked in, one player for the Lynx just had an absolutely monster game, right? Jess Shepard.
Oh my goodness, yes, historic is the only word. A triple-double. 22 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists.
Wow.
Get this. It was only the second triple-double in Lynx franchise history.
Yeah.
And apparently the fastest triple-double ever recorded in the WNBA.
Fastest ever. How does that even happen?
Right. And she played all 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Every single second. And maybe the craziest stat of all, 0 turnovers.
Played 40 minutes, triple-double, 0 turnover. That's almost unbelievable. What does that say about her?
It says she has incredible basketball IQ, amazing court vision, unreal conditioning, just a complete command of the game. She could just feel it, dictate the pace, make the right play every time, especially with Collier out. Shepard's really stepped into that central playmaker role, and this game just highlighted how vital she is, facilitating, scoring, rebounding, everything.
Truly incredible performance. So Shepard's orchestrating everything, but who else was providing the scoring punch for the Lynx during that surge?
Well, Kayla McBride, who, remember, was the Western Conference Player of the Week, she was huge. Led the Lynx with 29 points, dished out 6 assists too. She really got cooking in the second quarter, hit back-to-back threes that felt like a turning point. Just an elite scorer doing elite scorer things.
Okay, so the stars were shining. Any bench help?
Yep, big time. Natisha Heidman came off the bench and poured in 17 points. 10 of those were in the first half. Really helped them weather that early fever storm. Apparently, since Collier went down, Heidman's been averaging like 17 points and 6 assists. Just shows the depth Minnesota has.
That is serious depth. So it wasn't just 1 or 2 players. The Lynx really asserted themselves collectively. The sources mentioned their inside game was key.
Oh, absolutely critical. They just pounded the Fever inside, outscored them 46-38 in points in the paint, which is significant.
Yeah, that's a big gap.
But even more telling was the rebounding. Minnesota had a 30-23 edge overall, but get this. By halftime, the Lynx already had an 11-1 advantage in second chance points.
11-1. Wow, that's just killer. Giving up offensive rebounds and easy putbacks.
Exactly. It's totally deflating for a defense, especially one that's already shorthanded and tired. It means you play great defense for 20 seconds, force a miss, and then immediately give up an easy 2 points. Brutal. It speaks to the Lynx's effort and positioning, just controlling that physical battle.
Okay, so that paint dominance and the rebounding disparity really points to some defensive breakdowns for the Fever, especially as the game went on. Coach White mentioned lulls, right? What were the specific issues? Was it just fatigue or tactical stuff too?
Probably a mix of both. Coach White did talk about those lulls or small walls defensively, especially in that third quarter. Tactically, when you're tired, communication breaks down, rotations get slow.
Makes sense.
And guarding someone like McBride on the perimeter, Coach White called her one of the most prolific three-point shooters ever. It's pick your poison. If you overhelp on her, someone else gets an open look. And inside, the sources were pretty blunt. Said the Fever's paint defense was getting absolutely annihilated and bullied. Lynx finding easy layups and bank shots. That suggests help defense wasn't there, or maybe they were getting caught in bad mismatches. Hard to cover for that lack of size or depth against a disciplined team like Minnesota.
Yeah, and even when they did manage to force turnovers, seems like they couldn't always cash them in, especially later in the game. Missed opportunities hurt when you're undermanned.
For sure. You need every easy bucket you can get in that situation.
And even a star like Aaliyah Boston had a quieter night statistically. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Why was her impact maybe limited?
Well, a big part of it is how defenses are playing her now that Caitlin Clark is out. Sources mentioned opponents are just throwing double teams, sometimes even triple teams at Boston whenever she touches it in the post.
Ah, okay. So they can just collapse on her without worrying as much about Clark hitting from outside.
Exactly. It shrinks the floor, makes it incredibly hard for her to operate or score efficiently. It puts the onus on others, and while Hull and Mitchell stepped up big time, it's tough to sustain that against elite defense for 40 minutes.
Yeah, and Natasha Howard also had a relatively quiet game, 8 points, 4 boards, especially compared to that double-double she had against the Lynx earlier in the season.
Right, just further evidence that the Lynx defense was really focused on taking away the Fever's remaining primary threats inside.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. This was a tough loss for Indiana. How does it impact the playoff picture? They're 19-17 now, third in the East. Still in the hunt, but it's getting tight, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this loss really turns up the heat. The race is incredibly bunched up. You got Seattle right there at 19-18, Golden State at 18-18, LA at 17-18. They're all breathing down Indiana's neck.
So every single game matters intensely down the stretch. Talk about pressure.
Exactly. And it brings up that whole concept of the magic number. Fans and analysts start calculating what combination of Fever wins and competitor losses clinches that playoff spot.
Right, it adds another layer of stress.
Totally. Someone on Reddit crunched the numbers, figured maybe 22 wins is the target for Indiana. So every game left isn't just about winning. It's about watching the scoreboard, tracking those rivals. It changes the whole dynamic.
And the schedule makers gave them no favors. They play Minnesota again almost immediately, right? This Sunday, August 24th.
Yep. An immediate rematch. Talk about a high-stakes game. That one feels absolutely massive for the Fever's playoff life.
Wow. So facing the same team that just figured you out days later while still injured, that's a huge challenge, but maybe an opportunity too.
It's definitely both. Huge challenge, yes.
Yeah.
Facing that dominant team again so soon, tough ask. But also a chance for immediate payback, a chance to show they learned something, that they can adjust.
Did the team sound defeated after this loss, or were they still positive?
Remarkably positive, actually. Coach White, Mitchell, Lexi Hall. They all talked about competing hard, being in the game the whole time, against the league's best team, even with half their roster missing. Mitchell specifically mentioned their resilience, their belief in each other.
That's important. That
Yeah.
team spirit, even after a loss like this, heading into another huge game.
Absolutely vital, shows good leadership, good culture. They'll need every bit of that fight for the rematch.
Okay, so wrapping this up for you, the listener, what's the big picture here? We saw this Indiana Fever team just gutted by injuries, show incredible fight and offensive firepower, especially early on with Hull and Petty stepping up huge.
Right, that first half was something else, but then you saw the quality of the league-leading Lynx shine through. Their defensive adjustments in the second half, their dominance inside, and just unbelievable individual performances, especially Jessica Shepard's historic triple-double. It was ultimately too much for the Fever to overcome.
So the core story is resilience versus execution, maybe. The Fever showed heart. The Lynx showed championship-level execution when it mattered.
I think that's fair. And now, with this rematch staring them right in the face, the big question hangs there.
Which is?
How does Stephanie White and her staff adjust? What can they possibly do differently, defensively, to handle that Lynx interior attack? Offensively, can they sustain that first half intensity, that shot making, for a full 40 minutes this time?
Or are the Lynx just too good right now, too deep, and will they roll again, solidifying their top spot and putting the Fever in an even tougher playoff spot? It really is a fascinating tactical battle coming up.
Fever's remaining schedule includes games against Chicago and Washington, which, on paper, look winnable if they can manage their roster situation.
Right, winnable but not gims.
Definitely not. Meanwhile, the other bubble teams. It's a real mixed bag of challenges. Seattle has a tough stretch, Minnesota, New York, Golden State. But you could argue they have maybe the best schedule-wise shot at pulling away from the pack if they can maybe steal one of those cuff games.
Okay.
Los Angeles faces Atlanta twice, Phoenix twice, plus Vegas once. That is a very challenging road. Could easily see them drop a few games there.
Yeah, that's rough.
And Washington, they have an absolutely brutal finishing schedule. New York twice, Phoenix, Vegas, Golden State, their path to the playoffs looks incredibly steep, almost like running a gauntlet.
Wow. Okay. So that brings us to the million-dollar question. For you, for me, for everyone listening, will the Fever make the playoffs?
The big question.
I'm going first. I say yes, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. They have shown such incredible resilience all season long, especially with that uncanny ability to come back from deficits and their lights-out three-point shooting, which we saw again tonight, even without key players.
The shooting has been impressive.
And remember, they beat the Lynx earlier this season in the Commissioner's Cup, even without Caitlin Clark. That proves they can overcome adversity against top teams. With other teams having these brutal schedules, like Washington's gauntlet you just laid out, I truly believe the Fever can grind out these last few wins and secure their spot. Their heart, their newfound shooting prowess, the sheer will to win. It should be enough. It has to be enough to push them over the finish line, regardless of the injuries. They deserve it after everything they've been through.
I appreciate the optimism.
Yeah.
I really do. And their heart, their fight, it's undeniable. You can't question that.
Right.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, I have to be more cautious, more, well, realistic maybe.
Okay. Let's hear it.
The Fever's injury crisis is just, it's too deep. Losing 5 key players, including their star, that feels like an almost insurmountable challenge for sustained consistency against the league's best teams, especially in a race this tight.
But they keep finding ways.
They show flashes, yes. Flashes of brilliance like tonight's three-point shooting, absolutely.
Yeah.
But their defensive breakdowns, particularly in the paint, and that consistent struggle with offensive rebounds, those feel like systemic issues. Coach White herself acknowledged needing better adjustments, better attention to detail postgame. And those are issues that are incredibly difficult to fix with a constantly shifting, shorthanded roster learning on the fly. Other teams, like maybe Seattle, they might capitalize on their slightly easier remaining schedules, or they might just be more structurally equipped to handle the pressure right now.
So you think they fall short?
I think it's going to be a valiant fight, a testament to their heart. But ultimately, I think the sheer volume of those injuries combined with those consistent defensive vulnerabilities will make it incredibly difficult for the Fever to hold on to that playoff spot. And this new Odyssey Sims injury, even if minor, just makes it even harder to picture them finding the consistency they need against top-tier opponents in these last crucial games. Character alone, unfortunately, can't always win games when you're facing such significant structural disadvantages. I think it might just be too much to overcome.
Wow. Okay. Diverging opinions there. Makes the end of the season even more compelling to watch. Well, that was a truly deep dive into an absolutely wild game. You heard our takes. Now we definitely want to hear yours.
Yeah, what did you think of the game? Do you believe the Fever can still make the playoffs despite all those injury woes? Or do you think the Lynx will continue their dominance, secure that top seed? And looking beyond just these immediate playoff implications, what do you foresee for both of these teams as the season wraps up? And potentially as they head into the postseason, assuming they both get there.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Let us know what you think, and thank you so much for listening to The Women Who Hoop.
We'll see you next time.